In this video, we're going to talk about a 2018/19, I guess end of 2018 fragrance from Creed. It is the Aventus Cologne. We're also going to do a little bit of comparing with the original Aventus. If you're interested, stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's Peter from Central. If you're new to this channel, I want to give you a warm welcome. If you're back, it is good to see you again. On this channel, we talk about fragrances. Designer, niche, perfumers, so on and so forth. Anything that kind of turns around the world of fragrance. So if you're into fragrances or you just want to smell great, consider subscribing. Love, like, all those wonderful things that make this channel grow. Thank you in advance. And now, let's get into our fragrance for the day. Creed Aventus Cologne, and a little bit of comparing with the original Aventus. The House of Creed from the 17th century England has many amazing fragrances. It has been relocated to France since the mid-18th century, and the fragrances that this house has were not available to the general public until about the 1970s. Up until that point, the fragrances were only available to the royal houses all across Europe. There are many great fragrances in this house, like Millésime Imperial, Green Irish Tweed, of course Aventus since 2010. If you look behind me on the shelf, there are a few fragrances that I have from them, and I'm very happy to have a small collection of their fragrances, and I love every and each one of them. Most of their fragrances come from a 30 milliliter, which is a small short bottle, all the way up to the 100 now. It used to be 125 milliliters, but they don't make that anymore. It's now 100 milliliter. You still pay the same price for it, so I guess it's what happens when prices go up in the world. All the way up to the 1000 milliliter, which I think is 32 or 34 ounces, which is quite a big bottle. The most sold fragrance from Creed is Creed Aventus. From 2010, it's 11 years now. It is the most sold fragrance, and still everyone wants to get the bottle of Creed. And it's really a beautiful, wonderful fragrance. The fragrance, it was inspired by the Emperor Napoleon, and Aventus or Ventus in Latin means wind, so it's the wind. But how about we give it a spray? Nice, thick, and it's a powdery kind of spray, very small droplets. Aventus was created by father and son Olivier and Erwin Creed, the head perfumers of the Creed family or house. The company was purchased by BlackRock International. I believe it's a financial corporation, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to keep the quality, at least let's hope so, that they keep the quality going of these wonderful fragrances. When you first spray Aventus, you will get pineapple, some black currant, you also will get some apple. There's also some bergamot in here, which gives it a little bit of a tanginess right from the top as you spray it. The middle notes of this fragrance, many of you probably already know the ingredients, but this is just for somebody who doesn't know what Creed Aventus smells like. The middle notes, you have some patchouli, you have some Moroccan jasmine. There's also some rose in here, but it's not a rose fragrance. It just kind of lingers sort of in the back. And there's also some birch in this fragrance. Actually quite wonderful as it leaves from the top and just gets a little deeper as the fragrance continues to dry down. At the base, you have oak moss, vanilla, and musk. And there is, of course, Creed's signature ambergris. Olivier Creed travels all over the world, making sure that he gets the best possible quality ingredients for the fragrances. So the ambergris in here is superb, and it has a really amazing, beautiful dry down. It's one of the best dry downs that I have from all the fragrances that I have behind me. It's really a gorgeous scent, and I understand why it has been a bestseller for Creed for 11 years now. Somewhat overwhelmed by all the clones and all the Aventus rage in the last 10 years, I did not go out immediately and purchase a bottle of the cologne when it came out in 2018, late 18, early 2019. My thought process on this whole thing was, why would I go and purchase a weaker version of the original when the original itself you can wear anytime, any place, any season, dress it up or dress it down. It is 100% versatile. Why would I spend the $300 or $400 for a cologne that is just a weaker version of it? That was my thought process. It wasn't until I got a sample in one of the fragrance boxes when I bought multiple ones, and it had a sample in there, that I sprayed it on my skin, and I realized that the fragrance itself, it still has the Aventus DNA there, but it is a unique and wonderful fragrance in its own. So I admit, not going out and immediately buying a bottle when it came out was a mistake of mine. I should have bought it in 2018. But I finally went out and got a bottle, and this is the box. It is gray and white, beautifully done. Great color. I can see this color on a wall in my house somewhere. Beautifully done. Of course, the bottle matches it. It is gray, Aventus Cologne on the front. Perfect little match. And of course, the bottle, when you first purchase it, it comes with all the little, inserts in it. You have the original, I guess, founder of Creed, and then you got Olivier Creed on here. And it gives you a little bit of a history of what the company is about. That comes in the top. But let's also go ahead and give this one a spray. The barcode is on the bottom. I know there's always, it doesn't matter right now, it's relatively new, but in the future the barcode will matter because, like with Aventus, everybody wants the smokier ones or the more fruity ones, depending on what you're into, and they will be listed in the future of what you like best, if you can still get them. Right now this is not a problem since it is relatively new, 2019. Top, of course, these tops, when you first get them, they're pretty snug and they actually click in, so you can pick this one up like that. It should rotate freely. Ooh, sorry about that. And of course, emblem is on top. Let's give this one a spray. The spray on this one is actually a little bit more powerful than the original one. And maybe because it's new. This is an older bottle, but it did feel just a little bit more powerful. Now in the cologne, the original has 12 notes listed. In the cologne, there are only 10 notes. The only notes that they kept from the original Creed Aventus is patchouli, birch, and musk. Those are the only 3 notes that they kept, as far as I could tell, in the cologne. Went down from 12 to 10. The fruity pineapple of the original and the tanginess of the bergamot and the little tartness from the blackcurrant has changed from this one when you switch over to the cologne version. And here you have mandarin, ginger, and some pink pepper at the very top. So it is still fruity, but it is not as tangy as the pineapple and the blackcurrant. It is now mandarin and pink pepper with a little bit of ginger at the very top. Also very nice, just a little bit softer and a little bit smoother. But don't worry, the milky, soft, green sandalwood that is in here, mixed with the patchouli and a little bit of vetiver, keep the Aventus vibe very much alive in the cologne. Also, the dry down into the birch and the musk from the original will remind you of the original DNA from Aventus. And that's where the fragrance takes a completely different turn for me. So we're a little softer at the beginning with the mandarin instead of the pineapple. And it dries down and you have, some sandalwood and some vetiver in the middle. And of course, the birch and the musk keep it very much alive, like I said a minute ago. But once you get to the dry down, there is no ambergris in this fragrance. The dry down is completely different, and I was kind of worried at the beginning. I was like, oh my God, there's no ambergris in here. I love ambergris from Creed, but no, don't be worried. The dry down is every bit as fabulous as in the original Aventus. Instead of the ambergris, what was used in the cologne version is tonka bean and styrax. The tonka gives this fragrance a little bit of mystery because there is, like usually in tonka bean, there is a coumarin hint, anywhere from 1 to 3% depending on what kind of tonka bean was used. Sometimes it's even more depending on the process of distillation, I'm assuming. And styrax gives it a woody, balsamic undertone as it dries down. It's quite beautifully done. A couple of fragrances that use styrax in their fragrances is Pure Havane from Mugler, and also Van Cleef & Arpels. They use it in Midnight in Paris. The longevity that I got out of the fragrance when I was wearing it for the first time was between 7 and 8 hours, and the projection was probably about elbow to arm's length, about like that. And it didn't project too long, maybe just about 2 hours before it came in just a little bit closer. But the entire time I got whiffs of the fragrance, I really enjoyed it the most as it was drying down. In conclusion, if you're looking for a fragrance that has a softer opening than Aventus, it's just a little bit different than the original, but has the heart of Aventus in its belly and has a unique dry down that is also as exceptional as Aventus, then the cologne is for you. Yes, Aventus fragrances or Creed fragrances are expensive, but always remember, you're not only buying a fragrance of the highest quality available, you're also buying a piece of royal history. I hope you enjoyed my review of Creed Aventus, the Cologne version 2019. If you did, got anything out of this video at all, please do consider subscribing. Love, like, share, all those wonderful things. Don't forget to hit the bell button. I want to thank you in advance. Thank you for being here. I enjoyed spending time with you. Until next time, I want you to take good care of yourself. Always smell nice, and I'll talk to you soon. Until then, Centrail.